what's cracking? I'm out here in the UK. I'm straight out of Compton tour, man. Much love. And you know you rocking with, man. It's little Eazy-E, and we about that online. So we finna get it cracking, man.
So fast forwarded from there, then you would go on to sign with No Limit in the 90s and end up appearing on the Down South Hustlers. I do want to say it's a noteworthy track. I was actually playing it earlier because we got the news that Attack Down Canoe had passed away.
Okay.
So, you know, I was bumping that track in tribute and stuff, you know. So how did that come together?
Basically, I just wanted to, you know, I didn't want to stay local, man. You know, this was pre-social media. So you had to, you know, you had to get on. You either had to have someone. I mean, the independent game was just kind of starting, you know, at that point. But you had to have either somebody with a lot of money that understood the independent record business, or you had to get signed. So it was a very different game, a very different approach that you had to take to get in the business. I just didn't want to stay local. You know, I always had big dreams. I always had everything I ever wanted to do or ever did. I always tried to do it on the biggest level I could do it. And I just didn't want to stay local. And you know, I wanted everything that my favorite rappers had. You know, I was like, shit, we could be like, at that time, Bone Thugs had just come out. So, you know, I wanted the platinum records, the music videos, the fame. I knew I wasn't going to have that just trying to be local in Kansas City. You know what I mean? So I end up sending tapes out to all the record labels. I end up sending tapes to Ruthless Records, Rap A Lot, Black Market, you know, No Limit. To be honest with you, I wasn't even really in the know of Master P. That's the crazy thing about it. I really didn't even know who he was initially. I was trying to get with Ruthless Records. So we have been talking with Ruthless Records, or I have been talking with Ruthless for months. And right when it looked like that it could be something, where the lady, Cassandra Ware, she used to work at Ruthless. And never met that lady, but she used to put up with all my calls. I used to call that motherfucker every other day. And she said Eazy had heard the tape, he liked it, and you know, he was gonna get with me. Somebody was gonna get with me. I don't know if it was true, but it gave us a glimmer of hope. You know what I mean? And so he ended up passing away that following March. And so I was like, damn. So of course, all communication ceased with Ruthless. And so I got back on the grind, and I sent the tape to Master P, to No Limit. This is when he was in the Bay. I would call his voicemail. He was one of the only companies that I can recall that actually had a phone number and a voicemail. So I would, outside of Ruthless, and I think Black Market had one too, but I would call P's voicemail, and I would just fill it up. I would purposely fill it up so no one else could leave a message. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So he finally got the tape, I guess, because of my persistence. And he called me back. He called back and was like, hey, I heard the tape. That shit dope. Like, I'm doing a compilation called Down South Hustlers. Y'all want to get down? I was like, hell yeah. So he sent us two tickets. We flew out to the Bay Area. We did Down South Hustlers. We saw R.I.P. with me, him, Silk. We did that at K. Lou's studio, if I recall. Either K. Lou or Al Eaton. I can't remember. But, because, you know, back then, we were so excited to work with K. Lou and Al Eaton because they were like Dr. Dre back then. You know what I'm saying? During that period. So, you know, we got in their studio. That was the first time we had been actually in a big studio. Because prior to that, we had only been recording in, you know, small studios in Kansas City. And, you know, we had our own little studio that we had, you know, my partner Cisco had jacked a bunch of people for the equipment. You know, he was good for jacking people, stealing their equipment. So we had all our own stuff. But to be in a professional studio, you know, that was our first time. And we did R.I.P. So he was like, man, let's go ahead and do an album, you know. Now, you have to understand, man, I was like 18. This is like 95, so I'm like 18. So I'm a kid. We have no reference point of the music business. None.
Wow.
Like, we're kids, basically. And so we did an album. We actually recorded the album. If you look on the inside of the Down South Hustle,
100% Game, the one that was advertised.
100% Game. If you look on the inside of the album, our album cover, that's me in the black, you know, sitting kind of like this. We did the album, but it was just some stuff with you know, P and my partner that I rap with, they didn't get along. The management that we had at the time, I didn't really get along with the management. The management didn't get along with P. It was just a mess. It was a mess, you know, at the time. So so the album never came out, but me and P always still maintained a friendship, you know. So yeah, so that's how that went with No Limit at that period.
Peace, family. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and check us out on aboutthatonline.com. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook for exclusive playlists and social media for all different types of segments and content.